Eventually they know that South Beach.
Hi, everybody out there virtually. Can you hear us okay?
Yep.
All right. Great.
Just let us know when you get to see y'all.
We're gonna get started in just a minute. Thank you all for joining us. It's 8:02, so we're gonna give folks just another minute to sign on.
Yeah, just let them. Brett. Nice to meet you.
All right, we are going to officially get started. Thank you all so much for joining us today. This is the January 19th, 2023 meeting of the Kingston Local Development Corporation. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 8:03 a.m. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We have we probably do a roll call. Well, we'll do introductions and that'll be roll call for us all. But before we get started, we do have some new faces in the room. And so I just want to take an opportunity to just kind of go around and do some quick introductions. And for those of you that are new, maybe you can spend a few more minutes just telling us a little bit about yourselves, where everyone else, don't be as detailed. But again, welcome. My name is Steve Noble, mayor here in Kingston, but also the president of the Kingston Local Development Corporation, and happy to be starting off the new year.
My name is Tony Trosha. I work for Ulster Savings Bank. I've been with them for 15 years. I've been in banking since 1998. I got a very big beard to fill. I'm taking over from BA as treasurer.
Please don't.
I've been in contact with BA. I'll try to make this as seamless as possible. I'm very honored to be here to serve and look forward to working with everybody.
I'm Sal Rosalia. I graduated from Ontiora in 1997. I moved away to Seattle for 20 years, came back about 2 years ago, and I've just been getting my feet wet. I got a really good job as the director of marketing for Diamond Mills. Applied for this position, and here I am. So I'm here to serve.
Great. Tony Marmo, owner of Norman Stack. Oldest dirt.
My name is Brad Borquist, and I grew up in Rhinebeck, moved to Kingston 4 years ago almost. Been in the area, worked for Global Foundries, IBM, semiconductor manufacturer. Also worked in construction, and now I'm in semiconductor manufacturing tools, Edwards Semiconductor Solutions up in Saugerties.
Great. Welcome, Brad.
Thank you.
Why don't we go to you, Paul or Hayes?
It's on mute.
Oh, Paul, you're muted.
There we go. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm Paul Cachero. I'm the CEO of the Reese Insurance Group, and our main office is right here in Kingston, Washington Avenue. We're also located in New Windsor and Saugerties, and our newest location up in Latham. And I've been a lifelong resident of the city of Kingston, and and I'm happy to serve, and nice to meet you all.
Thanks, Paul. Hayes?
I'm Hayes Clement. I'm a real estate broker locally, and I think I've been on the board probably about 10 years now.
All right. Welcome. Thanks, Hayes. Mandy, do you want to say hi?
Yeah, hi. Mandy Brook, I'm the executive director for the KLDC. I've been with the KLDC for 18 years. I'm also the community development director for the city of Kingston.
My name is George Redder. I'm the attorney for the KLDC. Like Hayes, I've been here for approximately 10 years, doing various legal work when needed from the board.
I'm Andy Turco-Levin. I think I'm probably even older than dirt. And I've been on the KLDC. I serve as the vice president, I think, and it's been about 12 years now. I am a realtor, and I'm beginning a new business and a new venture where I'm opening up a massively huge dog training center in Saugerties. It should be open in about a month.
Congrats.
So, and I'm a long-time Kingston resident, so.
Will you be able to train, potty train dogs?
You know what, we train the owners.
They've got to do a little.
Don't give away your secrets. I was just trying to get mine to go. That's why.
There you go.
We'll talk.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Long process.
Yeah. Well, so thanks to everybody for joining and looking forward to the new year. So what I'd like to do is kind of just get right to our agenda. We don't have a lot on our agenda today. Today's kind of the organizational meeting of the KLDC. So we have just a couple of pieces of business. One is to do the treasurer's report. And poor Tony here, as our new treasurer, is, trial by fire. But, we're gonna, as you all know, it's really a combined effort between Mandy and her work, and our treasurer. And so thank you in advance, Mandy, for helping. So you want to give it a whirl?
Yep, all right, good morning, everybody. Once again, I took one of BA's old templates and I tried to plug in the fourth quarter numbers to the best of my ability. I've reviewed the balance sheet, I reviewed cash flow. Obviously, I don't have a lot to compare and contrast to because it's the first time I'm seeing these numbers, but just a real kind of abridged report here. We have a total of 10 loans outstanding with a principal balance of approximately $384,760. Currently, 9 of those loans are paying as agreed, with one of those particular loans not performing at this time. Revenues year to date was $120,445. Month to date December was $1612. Expenses year to date $71,603. Month to date was $1577. And net income, this number year to date $48,842. Month to date was $35. As far as our bank balances go, they look healthy to me. Again, don't know what they looked like last week. To me, there's six main accounts and one small kind of sweep account. Our cumulative balance in those accounts is $2,470,034 with an average balance. If you divide that out, $495,719.14. Again, thank you to Mandy very much for kind of walking me through even that abridged version of the treasurer's report. I'm sure I'll be driving her insane for the next few months till I get the wheels moving, but that's what I have for today.
So could I have a motion to adopt that treasurer's report? Thank you. Do I have a second? Paul? All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, great.
Just one post question though,
yes.
the loan that's in arrears, how far in arrears do we know?
Far enough that it's been in litigation and we're gonna write it off.
Okay.
So I was gonna ask, is there?
Yeah.
This calendar year is a month old.
Yeah. So up next, one of the things that we have to do at our organizational committee meeting is to actually assign committees. And so there are a couple of different committees that we have. One of them is finance. Why don't you go through the official names?
Yeah, so I have the disposition and acquisition committee. Right now I have one person that sits on it, and that's Andy.
I thought Hayes was on that, no?
Hayes was on the governance. Everybody can switch it up, but this is what we have right now, which is fine. This is a good time for everybody to decide what they want.
Oh, that's right, it was,
Everybody should be at least on one committee, and odd numbers are the best, because then if you have to break a tie, you have that extra vote. So right now, disposition and acquisition is Andy. Finance and audit is Tony, Paul, Kuchera, Eleni, and Tony Marmo. Governance was also Tony Marmo and Hayes. So if anybody wants to switch their committees, this is the time to do it. Let us know. It goes on the organizational chart. And the other important thing is we have an application that's going to be coming forth soon for a loan. So I need to have a finance committee in place.
Yeah, and so maybe we could just step back for the new board members, just to, with each committee, there's somewhat of a different role. So the finance committee, that would be the committee that maybe meets the most often. And they review any loan applications that we receive. We have a variety of different loan programs that we do. They only meet generally when a loan comes in, which sometimes we get a couple a year, sometimes we don't get any in a year, sometimes we get 5 in a year. And they basically help review and the kind of the background information and the submittals, and then provide a recommendation to the rest of the board as whether they would support or encourage support of a loan to be granted. The acquisition and disposition committee would review any either properties that we decide to take or sell, and to kind of help kind of see that process through and make recommendations to the board as to, again, whether to accept or sell any properties. And then the governance committee generally meets once a year, and sometimes it's just before a regular meeting to just be able to go over all of our policies that we have to see if there's anything that has changed in the world around us or with our policies that we would like to update, whether it's and we have all of our policies listed on our website. Those are the general. Did I miss anything?
No.
Okay, so those are the gist of each committee. And so our goal is to usually have at least 3 people on each committee. And if we have more, great, but that's the general goal, is to ideally have 3 people on each committee.
If you need another person on the governance, how many do you have on the governance?
Well, if they stay, it stays in Tony.
I was gonna go on your committee. So that's not, I'll own the governance.
I like the
Okay, so you-
thing, so that would be great.
And then anybody else named Tony, I'm gonna go on the finance. Tony. Tony, we should put 3.
I'm married to a Tony.
Michelle across the street, perfect.
Oh, that's right. Look at my neighbor.
And anything that somebody thinks I'm suited for.
Oh, you look familiar.
And Brad, what would you like?
I'm not sure. My first choice would be the disposition and acquisition, but
Okay.
if that's,
You make number
I
3.
think
No, it's really 3 at a time.
And then, Hayes, are you okay with governance, or did you want to go someplace else?
Fine to stay on.
Okay. And Paul, finance and audit?
Yeah, that's cool with me.
Okay. So we have 3, 4, and 3.
Perfect. Excellent.
Okay.
And again, if anyone decides they want to join those meetings, they're still available to other board members to visit and join in on, and we just can't get over 5, because then it would be a quorum of the board. And so there is a kind of a limit to how many people can join in on a committee.
And I just want to explain with the finance committee, just so everybody knows, I cannot always send things electronically because we're getting people's social security numbers and we're getting their financials. So I make packets. And some things will be, I'm going to say redacted, like their social security number, I'll see that. But I'll try to redact things like that in case you misplace a piece of paper. Because when they give us the application, I always tell them it's basically under lock and key. And then, once everybody is done looking at them, I ask them if they either be destroyed or you give them back to. Just because you wouldn't want your paper laying around someplace.
because we're kind of like a bank when it comes
Yes.
to loaning money.
We operate the same
So,
way the bank does.
Yeah.
And I will be asking for a meeting soon, only because we need to look at our interest rates. We always try to stay below the bank, even if it's by like 1%. I mean, the purpose of us is to try to help people out, not to,
Be an advantage.
we're not competing with the bank, So
I'm
we'll
gonna
have to,
I'm gonna talk to my folks, my commercial folks today and see where, get a range of where they're at. Residential, I can tell you right now, but commercial's different, so
yeah, we
I
don't,
don't have the access to that.
unfortunately, we don't make it residential, it's just for businesses. But yeah, so that would be great, we can sit down, have a quick meeting about that, and then we'll present to the board, and as long as the board's okay with it, we accept it, that's what will go on the applications for when people apply.
Right now, I think our loan rates are around 2%.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
You would think it would help, are you hearing this? I'm a marketing guy.
Yeah, right.
This is the marketing.
Let's give it a-
It's a 2% plus.
Yeah, I was gonna do marketing.
I'm just saying, that's it.
And one of the things I will say, and I think it'll be a part of the marketing that we can do, as part of some of the work that the city is doing. We are giving out and we'll be launching this month, grants to businesses, through our federal funds that we've received. So we're going to be giving $10,000 grants to 100 Kingston businesses. And so, and so we think that that will help. And another grant that we also just received with our partners at Repco is a Main Street grant. And so we are going to be doing facade improvements along the Broadway corridor from Midtown all the way through downtown. And it was a $500,000 Main Street grant. And so we think that there is going to be, some businesses along the Broadway corridor that may also need matching funds. And I think our loan program could be apt to be able to be a good match for them.
Is that an application process?
Yeah. Yeah.
From those businesses?
Yes.
Now, we don't just pick one and say, what
Right.
needs to help.
Yes, and so there'll be a whole kind of RFP application process that Repco will put out. It's state funding, so there are a lot of.
Okay, so this hasn't
No, it hasn't started yet. No, we just received the grant award in December.
Yeah, because it would be great to package all that
Yeah,
information together.
right.
But
Yeah.
the $10,000 grants, and
Yeah.
what are those designated for?
Yeah, so what's exciting about it is that it's really a long list of eligible expenses. So it can be everything from your mortgage or rent payments that you need to make. It can help with salaries. It can help with the new business improvement that you want to buy. The feds do have a few things that you can't do. You can't use it for gambling. You can't use it for alcohol. But there are. Yeah. So, so we're rolling that program out at the end of this month. So we expect to.
So how will the public be aware of that?
Yeah, so we're going to do a full public press in terms of public information and reaching out to all of our business contacts, reaching out to all of the business alliances in Kingston and both uptown, midtown, and downtown. Bill Reynolds is our ARPA manager, and so he's planning on going to all of the business meetings. I'm coming to Cuba in February. He's going to the Midtown Business Association meeting that's getting restarted again. They're meeting in February also. So we're just going to try to hit
Does the
ground running.
downtown business association still kind
They're not necessarily kind of
Super
meeting on
active.
a monthly basis as a group, but
Just still-
there's very engaged businesses downtown.
Yeah.
But maybe not, they haven't quite gelled around like a monthly meeting. So that's a hope.
Because I continue to think that KLDC is one of the biggest secrets in Kingston City, and not through anyone's fault at all, but it's just, maybe a marketing guy could help us.
I don't to my mistake, looking at other opportunities.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
so that's good. Maybe more
but yeah,
top of
when I
mind.
heard about it, I thought, wow, like people absolutely need to know about this.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's, so I also, I think one of the last things that I'll just mention, and then I think we've got minutes to approve, but then that's all I have for actual business, is that we met in, was it November, December, or October, when we got the presentation from Baxter about the redevelopment of 615 Broadway. We've been working internally with the city and to just kind of figure out kind of what a collaborative working relationship with, instead of kind of the KLDC being just involved at the end, we kind of want to be involved at the beginning. And so we've been trying to figure out what that type of relationship would look like with kind of official like MOU between all of us, so that we all have around the same playing field from the very beginning. We think that our goal is to get kind of that document to the Common Council in February to discuss, and then to you all in February as well to discuss. And so that's our goal. So if we haven't talked about it in a couple of months, that's kind of been why we've been doing some of the behind the scenes preparations. But our goal is to start that relationship building now, and which then will give Baxter really the next year to be able to then work with the community, to do the community design process, to kind of figure out what this building is going to look like and how it's going to work and what types of amenities, and then the KLDC will have to decide, do we want to play a role in it or not? So,
Okay, maybe for the new board members, give a quick capsule of what the project is.
oh, sure. Yeah. So we proposed to redevelop the former Kingston site, which is the old vacant lot on Broadway next to UPAC. And it's city owned currently. We took over back taxes over a decade ago. We have been trying to get developers to work in that space, and everyone has told us no over the years for a variety of different reasons. But we think that the development time is right now. And so our proposed, we did an RFP, the city did an RFP. We had two different developers respond. We chose Baxter Development Group, which is a family-owned business out of Poughkeepsie. And they are proposing to build about 60 housing units of mixed income, about 40% affordable, or 40 to 50% kind of affordable, and then the rest market rate. And then also have retail and commercial space on the first floor, while also creating a public plaza. Similar to the work that the KLDC did with the Kingstonian, the KLDC can play a role in basically being the land transfer agent. So that the city has in the past given property to the KLDC, and then the KLDC has then in turn processed it and so kind of sold it, if you will, or transferred it to a property owner. And so that's what we're thinking. But one of the things we learned when we did this the last time was that the KLDC kind of was brought in at the very end. And our goal this time is to have the KLDC more involved in the beginning and in the design and development process. So that's our hope anyway. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
mine's gonna be unrelated to this, so if yours is related.
Well, I want to get back a little bit especially for the newer board members, new board members. So the mayor and I had a chat yesterday at our chamber table about the duality or the dual role that you play kind of as the mayor of the city, obviously, and whatever the chief title is for this president.
Yeah.
Well, which is kind of sometimes a little weird in the sense that, you're representing the city, but then you're also doing economic development with this hat for the KLDC. So I don't know, maybe you could just give a capsule of that. So again, because when I joined this board, it's taken me a while to figure out, what's going on, or what it is, and what's exactly our function and role. So I think for the three, and then maybe a little refresher. Anybody who's been on for 100 years like those guys, and Andy, you've been on for a while too.
Longest out of anybody.
Yeah, so there you go. So you guys can snooze a little bit.
A lot of it goes back to the history of when it was created and how and why it was created back at TR, right?
Yeah, and it was really that, the city wanted a development arm, and in particular to create a business park. In order to do that, there are difficulties in city governments kind of getting into that economic development role directly themselves. And so a local development corporation, by in essence its charter, is and can be the economic development role for a municipality and can play that. And so you see the charter, you'll see that it really does create that very close and strong bond with municipal government. But yeah, they said, but yeah, independent.
Even in the budget,
And
huge role even in the city's budget and some parts from the LDC and salaries and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
It's always been a very,
mesh.
yes, and it's not, but it does create, complications, as we were talking at breakfast about the fact that, the mayor in the end has to play kind of multiple roles. And sometimes, in certain documents, I have to sign as mayor and then also as the president of the KLDC, and that is unique.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why it's important for me to be able to have a robust board that are independent and that have ideas and are connected to the community and can really vet the ideas and processes that we're doing, and really to be able to help support the economic development engine in Kingston, because really we're it. We have a great working relationship with the county and their economic development team, but in terms of doing local economic development, whether it's loans or, having the business park and, we're all that exists in Kingston right now in this whole arena. We don't have any other economic development corporations that work here.
We also mentioned, I asked about, is there any remaining land left in the development part?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
So,
We've met multiple times and talking about, we even have gone as far as like proposing and getting scopes on building, what, 20,000 square foot?
a spec?
Yeah.
No,
Not
just knowing where the,
Yes.
and having it shovel ready for somebody.
Gotcha,
Because it takes a lot to have all that,
yeah.
that land stuff in
I mean,
place.
it's a perfect place, quite frankly, to continue the development aspect, right? Obviously, the Kingstonian hit a lot of, walls, let's say.
Yeah, and I think that we live in an environment right now where it is, I think the business park is, it's a very unique site. It's gonna take a very unique business, that's gonna wanna be there. But I think that the fact that, iPark 87 is now on this trajectory to
Yeah.
kind of build up. I think that that's going to attract a lot of businesses that want to go there, but in the end, they may not feel comfortable, there may not be the right space, they may be too large of buildings, and they're gonna be then looking around in this general area, and that's where they'll hopefully find with some more marketing and.
Do we have an ideal candidate for who we would want there?
We've had several people that have made inquiries, but a lot of them either have heavy traffic, and that's a residential area that you have to go through. And when they're talking like 50, 60 trucks,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
we don't even realize there's a school down
So
there.
that could be an issue.
And water.
and-
Too much water usage.
Right, we need, like a little local manufacturing firm would be great. Paul, I think I see your hand up there. Yeah.
Sorry, back to the facade grants. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Did we ever consider, like an architect or an engineering firm or design firm for, Broadway to kind of assist? And, I'm not talking about homogenizing Broadway because you have so many different businesses, but when Tony and I were on the board of the Ulster Performing Arts Center, Ron Marquette had this vision of like Broadway Theater Square, which was, something that could really be an amazing kind of attraction for the city of Kingston. But the real thinking was to create, and this is, everybody has their different vibes and what they like, but we've got like orange facades, right? And we have brick facades, and we have, gas station or service centers, and we have all these different, if there's any way we could create like, we have the ability to do that with this facade money. If we could create some kind of, I don't even know, not like
Common element, Paul, maybe, some kind of thread that kind of carries through. Without affecting the individualism of some of them, but, there's some.
Right.
Thread.
And Paul, I would say that I think our new zoning code that we're putting into place is going to help with that. We do have the Broadway design guidelines, which also is kind of incorporated into the city planning department's role. I will say that I think the new zoning code is going to help, bring some more of that consistency along the corridor without, making it homogenized, like you said. But I think that that's going to help a lot. Yeah.
Because that's the first thing people see, right? When they come off of the circle, they drive up Broadway, it's the first thing they see. So I think it's a very important, first aspect to the entrance of the city of Kingston that, there is some kind of something, architecturally appealing to that corridor, and yes, there's such a diverse, a grouping of businesses that's going to be difficult. But if there was a common thread, like Tony said, that, like this Broadway Theater Square, the lighting was specific, and the businesses we were hoping to attract were pretty specific, to entertainment and restaurants and stuff like that. So I don't know if we could find that plan anywhere. God knows who has it, but
Marquette's plan? Marquette's plan?
yeah,
That's a good question.
yeah. I know I have a lot of old documents, but mine are all dissolution agreements and stuff like that. But it would be cool if someone could find that just from a historical standpoint. I mean, it was really an interesting concept. And I think if we're going to have the money to invest in facades for these businesses, if we could do something like that, I just thought it would be cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind, and thank you for sharing that, Paul. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Mayor, can I get back to a comment you made about being proactive or reactive? And I think if you're in business, you want to be proactive, right? I mean, reactive is on your heels, and it's just not a good place to be. So to the extent that we can formulate some strategies to be proactive, I think we're going to be in a better spot.
Agreed.
Just feel like we're kind of trying to steer the ship a little bit rather than reacting to the waves that come at us.
Do we have like goals for the year? Give away X amount of money?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great.
Well, the KLDC is going to give away money.
For 2% interest. 2% interest.
We can't give money away.
I understand.
Well, there's background because we use CF grants. But yeah, I do agree that having some agenda setting this year would definitely be helpful for us as we start to develop some of these programs. And I would definitely, when the finance committee meets to maybe go over this, the loan program, I think it'd be really good to be able to get a sense of, once we reset up that loan program and the interest rates or whatever, I'd love to be able to set some goals on how can we get that money out there, because we've got $3 million in the bank that, it's not doing us any good sitting in there. And we'd love to be able to get some, folks using that money.
I know in the past, years ago, when we've had certain programs, we actually spent money on brochures. And we worked on doing some kind of marketing materials when we had reason to go off and do some marketing. So maybe we can look at that again this year.
Yep, I agree. Yeah.
So, Sal, right?
Sure.
Sal was hitting on my question that I had a while ago. How do you decide what opportunities to pursue? Because in my mind, something like the Baxter development or something smaller, I know the Baxter development is really large, and with hearing our finances, that's completely impossible. But what about other smaller opportunities that could generate some more income? We get 2% on the cash that we have. Why not look at opportunities that can get you 10%, 15% possibly in other real estate opportunities? And how, what goals do you want to pursue?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we haven't really purchased and sold a few buildings over the years. I think there was a bank on Broadway at some point that the KLTC kind of was involved in and getting redeveloping, yeah. And so I hear that point, and I think that, I think we should always have our eyes and ears open for potential partnership opportunities or potential, redevelopment opportunities where we could step in and play a role, and then also, bring revenue into the organization, over the long term that, right now, again, we're not, like you said, we're not making a lot on our loans. It's paying the bills, we're making enough income to be able to, have a part-time executive director and, but we're not necessarily, a large organization based on our current workload, but it's good.
So maybe our next meeting could be just a little planning session and come up with 2 or 3 or 4 initiatives that, not too many, right? But
I like that.
enough to focus us, and there's certainly a great mix of new thoughts and, so I'll say, veteran thoughts of, not from a military standpoint, but folks that have been on the board for a while. So some experience blended with the enthusiasm of some new folks.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I love enthusiasm of new people they bring on board.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm only new board too.
Yeah. Good. Great. So I think the last official business item we had was just approval of the minutes from our,
I still have 2 things.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm currently working with the auditors. By the end of the week, they will have everything they need from me. However, I do beg of you that if they reach out to you with letters, that somebody responds. In the past, we've had where people have not responded, and it really kind of drags out the audit. Once the audit is completed, Tony and I will go over it, and it will be presented to the board for their approval. We would go over it to see if we had any issues with, if they had a finding, we would go back to them and ask them what the issue was. So my intent is that the audit will be done and I can get it uploaded on time this year. It's due at the end of March, and there's a lot of uploading. It's not just the audit, there's a bunch of stuff that goes with it. The other thing is, I have to beg everybody, please, to use your KLDC emails and respond when I send an email out.
So I was thinking about this yesterday. I have no idea where that is, where that lives in my system. You know,
It's
so
a-
I guess
It's a Gmail account,
it's.
and it will say Tony@Gmail.
Oh, yeah.
No, it'll say
What
Tony,
email do you use?
it'll say Tony,
We have an Outlook
it'll say
system
Tony
for
at
business,
KLDC-NY.
but I have about 8 million Gmail accounts.
Yeah,
So,
so you know how to.
But it comes
Yeah.
under KLDC-NY.org.
yeah, gotcha. I just need to look at Gmail.
I just had 2 emails. I created a new one, totally screwed up. So.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this new system, but
I
yeah.
said, I got an email saying, look out,
Hey, Tom.
and then I never.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. I have like 4 Gmail accounts.
All I can see is that it says it got sent to you. I don't have control
So
of
can
that. I can redo it.
Can you reiterate the importance or why we need to do this? Because this is the
Because we
only
are
board.
not, because we
that
are not the city of Kingston. We are
Right.
a separate entity.
I get that.
And in order to keep things clean, we need to have everything in one place where if we need to find emails, or if we have some sort of litigation, or if we get foiled, these are all in one place for them to be accessed.
Yeah,
And they can
anything,
access your email looking for that.
Right, so that's-
Whole email.
right, so
Yeah,
that's the issue, is that if you're able to segregate the KLDC emails, when we do have FOIL requests, because we are a public authority, so as we, go into these land development agreements or these complicated transactions that we may do in the future, if you don't, and you're getting all of the KLDC emails to your private email address, that could be brought into a court case, and they could be going through literally every Gmail email you ever sent. And so it's much better to, no, but
It's just, somebody will just try to
Oh, I
use
get
it as a piece.
yeah, and the other piece of it is that
When you
it,
let me know what my email address is, then I'll try.
yeah, it also makes it
So I
easier
can
so
sign
that
on
like,
different
Mandy can
Gmails.
basically do a search for like every email from Steve to Tony about, Broadway.
After the meeting,
she'll be
that's why I
able-
brought my.
We had this discussion last time.
and you were a big supporter of it.
But I'll do it. George, you were gonna say something?
I was just gonna say is that there's been some requests, FOIL requests that literally took hours to go through.
Yeah.
And that really makes sense, so we can, and then again, when you board members want to discuss a particular issue,
You can do
those
it.
discussions are privileged until you physically have a meeting, so obviously a couple of people were fishing for some other board members who had a displeasure on a particular subject matter. And we didn't, again, it was going between 2 individuals discussing it, but that was not subject to disclosures.
Okay.
But we will definitely help, go ahead, Gaze.
Sorry, just a question from Andy. With so many new members, which is great, have you gotten any word when the public authority training is going to be offered next?
Yeah, I sent out an email to all 3 of the new board members to let them know.
Got it, great.
All other board members need to have their refresher courses every 3 years. But you all just had it last year, 2 years ago.
21, I think we all.
Yeah.
Kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody except for, Tony just had his.
I just did it.
So,
February 11th is the one I signed up for, I asked for it.
okay.
It might be overdue.
Brett?
I'm not sure I can make the time they schedule this during the day. Do they schedule all training during the day?
Yes. And it's mandatory that you have it.
Take a sick day.
Well, sometimes maybe one of them is during the lunch, though. Are they all during the, daytime?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought some of them were like.
You know what? Maybe you look a little peaked.
I'll figure it out.
Do we have to go downstairs and sign in and get
Yes.
sworn in again this year?
No, if you, how does that work?
My understanding is that I think that once you're officially sworn sworn in. I don't think that for reappointments, you have to sign again, the oath of office.
I've signed in a few times.
Have you?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember,
You
but I
better
was
not
just
just stop
curious.
down and find out, it's the next.
Good
floor.
ask. Elisa should.
Mayor,
Yeah.
I've got to jump. I'm sorry. So, 'cause I have a 9:30 appointment and it's probably gonna take me a little time to get there. So, I apologize, but, if we need to vote on approval of the minutes,
Oh, yeah, we could do that. Do we want to approve the minutes from 10/20,
I'll make a
2022?
motion.
All right, thank you, Tony. Do I have a second? Second, Brad. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, thanks, Paul. Thanks for joining.
sorry, I apologize about that, but, all right, take care, everybody.
Thanks, Paul, be well.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so, yeah, and I think that reminds me too, what Tony's got there. If you haven't gotten your financial disclosure statement filled out yet or turned in, I think KLDC members are required to do financial disclosure statements. And so I think that they're due February, have a date,
I think it's 14.
15th, February 15th.
And then
14th,
people
yeah.
need to do that?
Yes, everybody.
I have to go and bring that and then
Everybody.
sign the envelope, right?
To the Gmail?
Yes.
It's probably.
I don't have it, I haven't been in that Gmail.
You sent it to the Gmail? Okay.
It went to your KLDC-ny.org. I'm not supposed to be sending anything any other way, so that's why.
I know. Yeah, see how serious you are.
We'll get at
Like I thank you, so I begged you on your personal email, so then I had the mayor reach out to everybody.
Yeah, so that's, we still have a month pretty much to get that in, but, you know, so the process, just so everyone knows, once you have it filled out, if it does need to be notarized, but our appropriation counsel's office right here in this building will do it for free, and it's easy. And they're right across from the clerk's office, so you can stop in with your form, you bring it over to the Janet in the our legal office, she'll notarize it. She'll have you put it in an envelope, she'll have you sign on the back of the envelope so that you know that it hasn't been tampered with. They'll bring it into the clerk's office, and the clerk will then have you sign a kind of a log that basically
That's
says,
what I did.
yes, they'll have you sign a log saying that you're turning it in, you sign, they sign, and it goes in a box. And that's it. Yeah, that's the
High
process.
security.
High security, so we just want to make sure that no one says, I brought it in, and then we don't have it, right? So we have to make sure we don't lose anything. So that's all I had. Anyone have any other questions, concerns?
Good start.
Yeah.
What's the best way I can gain some good historical context and knowledge about the business we've done?
So our website, so it's kingston-my.gov/KLDC, has at least the charter and all of our bylaws, which you can see kind of a little, which does kind of go a little bit of our history. You also see kind of our loan documents and our loan applications, which kind of tells you at least kind of the programs that we've offered historically. And then we actually have, and there's a link on there that then will take you to our business park webpage. And that will tell you all about the business park. And it'll tell you like what we've done there and the tenants, and that's probably like the printed history that we have, but then obviously there's board member history that exists on the board, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, George, you didn't have anything for us today?
No, good.
Okay.
I have a.
Yep, we're good.
Appearance.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
All right,
So we can-
I'm
See you
gonna,
in your lab soon.
Not a problem. I'll see you.
so I'm gonna ask for, I guess, a motion to adjourn if you have nothing else. Andy, a second. Tony, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, great. Well, thank you all.